Hey everyone, Chris Mack coming at you today with the McFarlane Toys DC Superpowers Black Suit Edition Batman. When I saw this figure, I knew that I had to have it in my collection. So at the time of this recording, if y'all want to pick it up, as I always say, first and foremost, support your local comic shop or wherever it is like to get your action figures and comic books. If not, at the time of this recording, unfortunately, according to McFarlane's website, the places that were featured for this, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Store, and GameStop, sold out. But if you do want to grab it, it is currently available on Amazon, so go get you some. And of course, get that old school traditional packaging that just looks absolutely beautiful with the addition of McFarlane Toys there and the DC logo there. On the back, all the cool figures from the wave, so I'll make sure to get close above that so you can check it out at your convenience, as well as this cool read-up. Come back around, of course, because it's a blister pack, nothing on the front, backs, or sides in that regard. So is this Black Suit Edition cool or not? Let's get the Dark Knight out and get a closer look at him. If memory serves correctly, this prototype ad version was never released by Toy Biz, and instead we got this Toy Biz version, which even though apparently was made with cheap material and eventually led to Toy Biz losing the license, it still holds up in my opinion. This was the second Batman action figure that I'd ever owned. And my original one I played to death with. So it still holds up even though it was made with cheap material. Though it would have been nice if we would have gotten this version. So that's why I'm always wished that they would release the promo version that was based on the original Kenner Superpower Batman. And I gotta say that I'm thankful that McFarlane released this one. Though it would have been awesome with this version if McFarlane would have added the utility rope. So what do I mean by that? The one that came out back in the day, you take his belt and put it this way. And in that promo version, as we saw, this had that, but it was just a repaint of the original Kenner Batman. So I'm glad that we got this one. But what frustrates me is the fact that we get no accessories with this figure. We don't get that utility belt power that this one has. And I wish that McFarlane would have, maybe thought, hey, a lot of people are still going to have the original accessories from the old one. I wish that he would have opened up the hands somehow so we could have put the accessories in, but both hands are closed fists. So that irks my gurk. Still a beautiful piece. The only accessory that I guess you could say is an accessory that he comes with is his cape. I'm glad that they still kept the traditional way that the capes went on and off of the Superpower action figures. So for that, I can't complain too much. Looking them over, the sheen on the plastic, it just brings you back very much to that old nostalgia feel. I am glad that this bat symbol is a lot bigger than that one. And even though, one thing that I will say is, even though I wish this thing had the bat action, I hate that the utility belt was always flimsy for that reason. So we'll leave it alone for now. But this, and a lot of people wish that they had the Michael Keaton look. I'm glad that this has more of a serious look compared to how this one's like semi-smiling and the bent ears. I always like when Batman's ears are pointed up like that. Flesh tone looks great. I love that it just has that nostalgia gold feeling that the packaging of the original Toy Biz Batman action figures had. The black all around just looks absolutely gorgeous all the way around. And just like with all the figures from this time period, no real articulation to speak of. I mean, I wish that we could do that, but we can't. All we can do is the head side to side and the arms around. No joint here, no joint in the hand. Can kick up that far. And thankfully, no hindrance of a butt flap on these older figures, so you can at least get them to go all the way back. But that's to say that that's as far as the knee can go. That's it. No articulation that we are now spoiled with. For all those growing up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, this was the level of articulation that we got. And we still were able to take our imaginations and have all sorts of awesome adventures. So having this version alongside this one, I can't complain. I'm happy in this regard to just see how far we've come in our action figure adventure. So here's a scattering of my childhood toys against the new McFarlanes, like the manga Batman, the Batman Who Laughs, the black suit edition that we just got. I've been playing with figures for a long time and collecting them, and it just brings me so much joy, and I'm sure along with a lot of y'all as well. And so I think once they took over these Batmans, I think that was Toy Biz, and then when these came out, I think these were Kenner again. I'm not 100% sure. Feel free to make fun of me down in the comments. But like the Penguin, Superman, Green Lantern, Batman, and Robin here, these I believe are the original superpower ones that have the action. When I was a kid, I didn't think about collecting back then. I loved my toys, and I played them to death, especially this poor Superman. As much as I love this figure, and if y'all have an extra one that you're looking to get rid of, hit me up, because I would love to have another one of these, but that's how much I played with my action figures. I was just so happy to get in there and create my own stories that my poor figure's articulation just suffered for it. So we'll let old Soups there retire. But this was the first Batman that I'd ever owned as a child. And all these old superpower ones, I'd love to get another, newer versions of them, but I don't think that will happen, especially in the collector's market now where stuff is so flippin' expensive. But this one I just loved as a child for it was remnant of the Adam West era, which is kind of what I grew up with. I grew up with that and the Michael Keaton. Plus, this matched the comics I was just starting to get into, and a lot of those, obviously, the Superpowers, the Super Friends cartoon. It took a long time for me to kind of know exactly what color Batman was for me, but the black always looked awesome, and I loved how both the Toy Biz and the Kenner always had this gold sheen to them. There was just something about the packaging and all that just made it look absolutely gorgeous. But out of all of them, the one that I played with the most as a kid was the Bruce Wayne that you could snazzy up. I had two of them, and I had to get another one because I played it to death. The mask got worn out and stuff, but it was such a cool idea for 1991. I mean, looking back at it now, it's goofy once you get them armored up, but still the concept of having a Batman that you could switch to Bruce Wayne and whatnot was such a cool idea. And if you have the Batcave and it has that little spinning action where you can change from Bruce Wayne to Batman, at least you could use the Bruce Wayne, and then use one of the new McFarlane ones. So that's a cool thing. I love that McFarlane made sure that all these superpower ones fit in all the old school vehicles as well as the new ones. I have all these open like right here, man, and it's just like a smorgasbord of nostalgia. This poor one, this was another one that I loved too. I cannot remember what the name of it was, because each Batman, of course, had to have like the Batman glider stealth suit or whatever. And this one, hands popped up. I think my dog got a hold of this when I was a kid, chewed the ear and chewed the back of the leg. So it's really hard, but I'm really glad that I at least have one Batman where the superpower effect works. Do you guys still have all of your old school either Superpowers or Kenner or Toy Biz Batman, Superman action figures? Do you pose them on your shelves? Do you guys take action figure photography with this style instead of the McFarlane or the DC Multiverse ones? Let us know. We'd love to see pictures over on our social media pages. I'm glad that I picked up this black suited Batman because it just brings me back to those old school days when we were seeing the ads for the Kenner Batman movie. And to just finally see the promo version realized to a degree makes me one happy Batman collector. As I've said, anytime something from Batman's announced, I go ballistic because I've been reading him since I was 6. I'm an old fart now, so to have this in my collection, I am one happy collector. I do wish, though, as we talked about, that Todd would have opened the hand so that we could put the old school accessories in there, because it kind of limits you. But in terms of posing, beautiful looking figure. I'm glad that we have it. So no more complaints from me. If you guys have enjoyed what you've seen, as I said at the beginning of the review, first and foremost, support your local comic shop or wherever you'd like to get your action figures and comics and grab this figure, or the places that we talked about at the beginning of the review. And if you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little bat bell next subscribe, that way as I continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure I leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.